So now it is completely moving away from Cuba and now into the open waters of the Gulf of Mexico, and this is when we're really expecting this to intensify. So today, even though we have a tropical storm now, we're expecting a Category 1 hurricane today, as early as about midday or maybe our 1 o'clock update. So we'll continue to monitor for that. Then notice how quickly we're going to get that Cat 2 and then just before making landfall a Category 3. What that means for us here locally, we need to prepare for some extremely strong gusty winds. We need to prepare for storm surge, of course, along our eastern coastal counties. And if this track shifts westward anymore, we need to be prepared. So if you're watching this morning, there hasn't been the biggest changes that have happened overnight is that now the National Hurricane Center has made this a major hurricane, so a Category 3. And it's also shifted west by about 10 miles. Now that could happen, that could shift even more later today, and we're expecting that to happen. But those are the two probably biggest changes if you went to bed around 10, 11 o'clock last night that have happened overnight to kind of catch you up this morning. Either way, if it shifts west or east, once it makes landfall, because of the upper level winds, it's going to pick it up and carry it really quickly towards the east coast. So this is not going to sit and stall for several days. It's going to have kind of our typical hurricane elements where it's going to have some really strong winds, that storm surge, and then some really heavy squally weather and some tornadoes along with it as well. We can't rule out that. Let's talk about the watches that are in place. So the pink purple that you see is our hurricane watch. Notice that's offshore, but that does include our coastal eastern counties. Then we have a tropical storm watch, and that's taking it inland as well. That's because of the winds. Let's talk about the wind threat, because with this hurricane, forecast to be a major hurricane, we are going to see some significant winds along with this, and the variation of 50 miles east or west will have serious impacts from these winds along the area. So let's talk about tomorrow, 2 o'clock. Wednesday, we're going to be tracking the center of circulation. Winds are going to be picking up pretty much all along the Gulf Coast. They'll be following along the lines. But then overnight Thursday, when we're potentially looking at landfall early Thursday morning, watch how these winds from Galveston, Beaumont, Lake Charles really start to pick up to 108 mile per hour maximum sustained winds there. Incredible. Now, once this again makes landfall, it moves quickly north. This is Thursday afternoon. We will be looking at breezy winds. But again, this is all forecast subject to change. Now, models want to say we're talking still that Texas-Louisiana border, but some of these models that go outside and on the western edge, that's what's still concerning. Marco, not even a factor anymore.